Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining me today. It's Allan Laboucan with the Rocks and Stocks News Show. I've got another of my In the News episodes. I got a handful of companies that had news out today that are picks and reports. Well, one's not an official pick, but I'm watching them really closely. Four of them are. Before I get that part of the show started, I just wanted to talk a little bit about the price of gold. It was under some pressure today. And I've said this many times before that you can learn a lot about a trend, not just from the rallies, but in the pullbacks after rallies. And I had talked a lot recently about the tightening of the range and the basing of gold, and that it was ready for a significant breakout. We've got that over the last couple weeks, where it broke out to new record highs, and this was a number of days up for the price of gold. And even on a down day, didn't want to give back very much of that gains. Here's the action. It went from, this is the 5 minute chart going back several hours. So up here was at about 36.40. It dropped all the way down to, well, we won't use the spike, but 35.77. And then it spent the rest of the day taking back some of those losses. And in after hours trading, it's up another $5.60. So when I look at this action, there was a lot of profit taking that could have happened here. And that's why I watch to see how sticky the buying is in a market. And what I see when I see such a mild pull profit taking after such a big move to new record highs, basically everybody that's ever owned a gold is up, and yet there was very minimal amount of profit taking, and so I find that very bullish. And tomorrow there's some key economic numbers coming out, and I think that it will surprise people on the downside, which will give the Federal Reserve some cover to cut interest rates. Um, I, the wisdom of that, I don't know. They're going to be throwing inflation under the bus to prop up the jobs market that's stalling. And that is becoming clearer and clearer every report now. And so the ultimate thing that will happen because of that is when they do start lowering interest rates, it will put pressure on the US dollar to go down, which will be very bullish for the price of gold, silver, and other commodities, because how they are moving relative to the US dollar is the most highly watched price. And so I think that this little blip at the end of that on the far right side of the chart there is a very short term, and we could see a lot of fireworks tomorrow. Before I get into the news, let's have a quick look at silver, see how it did today. And again, it's moving very consistent with the price of gold. It's also been on a very substantial rally, and had just came back slightly earlier today, and is up slightly in after hours trading. I think everybody's sort of watching for these reports tomorrow from Wall Street to every Wall Street throughout the world, because it's going to likely give people some confidence or some idea as to if the talked about cuts in interest rates are actually going to happen. I think they are, and when they will be, because the jobs market is stalling, but it will also send inflation up a lot, which means stagflation, and possibly the really attention grabbing kind, when there is virtually minimal or no growth or recession. And I think that these actions are going to cause inflation to go well over 3%, maybe even as much as 4%, because not only do you have the tariffs that are going to cause inflation, you've also got a weaker US dollar that causes inflation. So, yeah, I see stagflation and I see the best parking spot for people's money is in gold and silver, and especially the stocks, the high quality stocks, all along the food chain from the majors, mid tiers, junior miners, developers, and explorers with important discoveries are the way to go because they give you that added torque. And so, on that note, let's talk about some news today. The first one up is Amex Exploration. Amex Exploration Foran Gold Project delivers strong economics in updated preliminary economic assessment. Post-tax IRR, internal rate of return, is 70.1%, and post-tax NPV of 1 billion and change Canadian, using US $2,500 per ounce of gold. Now, this is something that the reporting standards make you use conservative numbers. They don't allow you to use current prices of gold, but that would only enhance the numbers. But even at these numbers, 70.1% IRR is very unusual these days. There is not a lot of projects in development that have those kind of high internal rate of return. Another point was that it's two-stage production. They'll do 4-year toll milling operation followed by construction of an on-site processing plant. Now, not every deposit can benefit from toll milling. What that is you mine the rock and then you ship it to a nearby mill to have it processed there. The reason that this can happen for this project is, one, it's got a very high RR, and secondly, there's a lot of under capacity mines, mills in the Abitibi region near where Amex has their Puron project, and so yeah, that's a benefit, another big benefit to this Puron project. They talk about gold production to average 112,000 ounces per year over the first 10 years of production. They announced results of the preliminary economic assessment. Perron project is near the town of Normatal and Val-Canton in the province of Quebec. So Normatal was a town that was built for mining, and the Perron project is immediately beside it, like 5 kilometers from it. And there's other communities not very far from that. And a lot of those people that live in those communities are mining related workers. Uh, they're holding a conference call, an audio webcast that was earlier today. I'm sure they'll have it recorded so you can check that out. They use all dollar amounts in the news release are Canadian dollars. Let's see. So here's some of the highlights. Stage production strategy de-risks the project, simplifies the permitting process, accelerates time to revenue, and they're targeting for that in 2028, and minimizes shareholder dilution with phase two mine construction financed from free cash flow. Phase one is 4 years of 1,000 tons per day contract mining, toll milling operation in the Abitibi region, where numerous processing plants are in operation, which means a low initial capital cost of 146 million, which is partially offset from pre-production revenues of 68 million for an initial capex of 77.5 million. Very low capex. We're in a world nowadays where the capital costs to build mines are multiples of that level. Average annual gold production of 102,000 ounces at an all-in sustaining cost of $1,165 US per ounce. So that's why when you're producing gold for your all-in sustaining costs are $1,165, and even using the $2,500 that is required to be used in the preliminary economic assessment, if you use current prices, that's a heck of a lot of free cash flow. Average diluted head grade of 10.07 grams per ton for so that's a really nice head grade. Most mines these days are operating at very much lower head grades than that. Phase two is a 13-year, 2,000 ton per day owner operated mine with on-site processing facility. The growth capital of 191.6 million, average annual production of 93,000 ounces of gold at an all-in sustaining cost of $1,027. So as you can see, it's not a huge difference between the toll milling and contract mining and having your own mill right on the property. So it just goes to show you the economics of the options that are available. Average annual production or average diluted head grade of 4.32 grams per ton of gold for 1.25 million ounces. Life of mine for 17.5 years. Average, and then they give you more details, but those are the key ones that I look at when I'm looking at any project that's in development. I look at the capital cost to build it, the the internal rate of return, and the all-in sustaining costs, and then that gives you an idea of the pre-tax payback. And the other one is the pre-tax payback of the capital expenditures. So they're talking about 1.1 years and or an after-tax payback period of 1.4 million, 4 years. So very good, great numbers in the preliminary economic assessment. Victor Cantore, who's the president and chief executive officer of Amex, commented, and I quote, this PEA is based on our latest mineral resource estimate and reflects our new vision for developing the Foran project. Our staged approach to production and construction is both fiscally and technically prudent, minimizing permitting and technical risk, reducing upfront capital, and enabling early cash flow. He continued, the economics of this project are incredibly strong, and with gold prices at record highs, quick time to production allows us to capitalize on current market conditions. Our cost structure is one of the lowest globally and reflects the benefits of having a project with high grade, easily mined gold ounces that is surrounded by infrastructure and mining expertise. End quote. So, there you go. I mean, whether you look at the numbers or how Victor Cantore sort of wraps it all together into a nice package there, this is a special project in the Abitibi region, in Quebec, which is one of the most mining friendly jurisdictions in the world. And it's in one of the most important mining camps in the world, which is the Abitibi region. And so it's got a lot going for it. Bear in mind the company is a sponsor of my report, so I have somewhat of a bias, but that's why you should do your own homework and read over all this information for yourself. All right. So now let's take a look at their stock chart. They bottomed here at around 80 some cents. They had a golden cross. They've been consistently trading above their 50-day moving average. A lot of stocks today were down somewhat, and it's pretty natural when you see this kind of a move from, let's say, $1.66 to nearly $3 to see some profit taking. But I think as this news gets out to everybody, they have a chance to look it over. I think they're going to see a lot of great things in that news release. So there you go. Do your homework and on this news. I'm very encouraged by what I'm reading. All right, Athena Gold. Athena uncovers new till anomalies at Laird Lake, materially expands land package in Ontario's Red Lake Gold Camp. They talk about four new geochemical anomalies to be tested. They talked about their 2025 summer till program. So they're taking samples from the surface to see if there's mineralization in target areas, and they had very good results on that. That from their Laird Lake project in Ontario's prolific Red Lake district. Uh, they have highlighted at least four distinct zones of gold anomalism, ranging up to approximately 3,000 meters in length. Then they give you the names of the zones. Those are Nemo, Bounty, Hugo, and Chungus. Three of the new zones are not associated with any historical occurrences and represent new opportunities to make near surface discoveries. So these are grassroots targets that they're developing. On the back of these till results, Athena has further grown its land position by another 2,300 hectares, with the project now comprising a total of 7,457 hectares. There's a quote from Kobe Kushner, who's the CEO, and he stated, and I quote, "We are beyond thrilled with the results from our 2025 drill program at Laird Lake, which have revealed four significant gold anomalies in Ontario's Red Lake district. The discovery of the Nemo, Hugo, and Chungus zones, combined with the expansion of our land package to over 7,400 hectares, positions Athena to unlock substantial value in this prolific gold camp. With minimal overburden and road accessible targets, we're well positioned to efficiently advance the discoveries towards our maiden drilling campaign this winter. The new targets identified happen to occur in areas with very thin overburden, so just a thin veneer there. Additionally, we believe the till material sampled likely underwent minimal glacial displacement from surface mineralization near the new anomalies. This means that we should be able to ground truth these targets cheaply and quickly in order to finalize drill targets for our maiden winter drilling program, end quote. So when he's talking about uh, that there is very thin overburden. So you're not looking at a lot of dirt above the bedrock and glacial till and this sort of stuff. So you're basically got a thin veneer and then you're down into the bedrock. And so they also make an important point that they don't think that the mineralization that they're seeing in the samples have due to glacial movement, have been moved far from their source. So this is all very good information. They give you a summary of everything in there. Um, this map, it shows you some their claim block. Then it shows you some the big main contact, or and this is key in this area. It's called the Balmer Confederation contact, and so you, as you can see, it goes right through two-thirds of their project. And in these orogenic gold systems, these are the paths of least resistance where the rocks are open enough and allows the fluids with the gold in them to make their way close to the surface. Now, these yellow lines are also significant faulting as they are additional cracks in the earth. And it's no coincidence that you see where you've got one yellow line here coming close to the Balmer Confederation contact, and you're getting sample results there, historic gold showings. Here's another one. This is a secondary fault coming off the main structure, and another gold showing there. These are all very important, these cross-cutting structures and the main structures, to be looking for gold deposits. And so that's some really good information there. Here they show you where they added ground up in the corner here and over here. Evolution Mining, the one that owns the Red Lake mine, has this ground up here, and Gold Finder Resources is over here. So they got a really great package of properties there and road access. These black lines here are road access to the project. So that's the Athena news. Now, Athena is a very junior exploration company, and they are getting ready to start a drilling program. So they don't have a lot of attention at this point in time, and but that's what this is the stuff that I look for when I'm looking for a company to follow. Why am I having troubles finding their symbol? Sometimes stock charts doesn't want to cooperate with me, but they have a very low share price. It's around 7 cents a share, kind of a trades by appointment. So, I'm following it because I want to see them drill this Laird Lake project because I'm a big fan of high grade gold, and Red Lake is one of the great camps in Canada to look for high grade gold. And they're getting a lot of the right signatures there that you want to look for. So take a look at Athena Gold. That's Athena. And they trade on the Venture Exchange under the symbol AUX. For some reason, oh, I got you the wrong company there. I might as well get the right company when I'm talking about it. ATHA, yeah, because it trades on the CSE, the Canadian Stock Exchange. So yeah, sometimes this happens where I can't pull up those charts, but that's the Athena news. Next up is Foran Mining. They're a new pick in the report just in the last couple of weeks. Uh, they talked about Foran expansion potential builds with new Tesla zone drill results. All 2025 Tesla drill holes successfully hit mineralization. Results highlight growing precious metals opportunity. Tesla zone defined over 1.35 kilometers strike, remain open down dip and along strike. And then they give you the drill results, confirms mineralization across multiple areas of the Tesla zone. Foran completed almost 28,000 meters of drilling across 32 holes at Tesla and Bridge zones during the winter spring drill program. All holes successfully intersected copper and or zinc rich mineralization, with several results also returning notable gold and silver values. So let's look at some of these highlights. I'm not going to read them all out to you, but one of them is 6.9 meters grading 2.16% copper, 3.72% zinc, 29 grams of silver, and 0.62 grams per ton of gold. They had one hole there with 8.1 meters grading 1.86% copper, 11.5% zinc, 80 grams of silver, and a 1.68 grams per ton of gold, which works out to a 6.49% copper equivalent grade. Very juicy numbers there, folks. It's a very handsome grade to be building a mine off of. Their precious metals opportunity emerging. Elevated gold and silver grades have been observed in several holes in the central part of the Tesla zone. They had one hit there of 3.3 grams per ton of gold, or sorry, 3.8 meters, grading 3.42% copper, 8.72% zinc, 87 grams per ton of silver, and 3.12 grams per ton of gold. So getting some juicy numbers in the gold there. We like to see that. One that part of that also had a half a meter grading 13.89 grams per ton of gold, 107 grams of silver, 4.15% copper, and 7.2% zinc. Really tension grabbing numbers there, folks. Tesla zone demonstrates uh, significant scale and remains open. Drilling has now traced Tesla's mineralization over 1.35 kilometers and 700 meters down dip, pointing to a large and vertically extensive system that remains open down dip and along strike. They talk about the summer drilling is now underway. Two drills are active, one targeting the down dip expansion of the lower lens and the other testing high-grade continuity in the northern main lens area. Results expected to support a maiden resource estimate. Mineralization intersected throughout 2025 program are expected to positively contribute to the company's plans to prepare a final resource estimate for the Tesla zone. Aaron Carswell, is Foran's vice president of exploration. He commented, and I quote, was with results from the final 15 drill holes returned from the winter spring resource drilling program at the Tesla zone, we have achieved excellent drill coverage and an even better understanding of the mineralization, its zonation, and where significant potential remains to expand the zone in the advance of a future maiden mineral resource estimate. In particular, we are seeing copper and gold grades within the main and lower lenses increasing down dip, and thick intervals of copper mineralization continuing towards the south of the target. Significant zinc and silver grades remain encouraging as always, and even the highest up dip holes on the margin of the zone continue to intersect mineralization. A focused summer drill program is underway as we've advanced resource planning, with Tesla's scale and consistency continuing to support the long-term potential for phased expansion opportunities at McIlvenna Bay. So he's talking about, all the check marks that an exploration geologist is looking for. He talks about continuity. He talks about understanding the mineralization and the zonation, so where the grades are different in different areas of the deposit. And ultimately, they're working this towards a maiden resource estimate, as he mentioned. And as you can see here, here's all their holes. This is where the previous drilling was done, the gray ones. 2025 drilling is these ones with the drill hole traces on them. And the red ones are the ones that are in the result released today. So they give you more details about the winter drill program that they'll be doing from ice-based winter drill program, so they can get on the ice and drill underneath the lake that way. Um, this gives you a showing the pierce points in the long section, so you can see it sort of from the side of where they're hitting a lot of these high grades, and that it's not just sporadic. They've drilled this off very nicely. They give you more details. I'm not going to go into all of those details, but needless to say, things are getting better for a company that's about halfway, 50% recently. They announced that they're 50% of the way to building the mine, and they're gearing towards production in 2026. So this is a near-term producer of base metals, but now they're getting some gold and silver in there as well. So that's a very exciting combination. I'm really glad that I picked them not too long ago, recently, and I see a lot of good things coming out of this company. I picked them after they had bottomed out here, and they've done very well. Now, when a company is in the latter stages of what's called the development discount window in the Lassonde curve, sometimes they can soften up and then they get into what I call the sweet spot, and that's just before they bring something into production. That is a great place to look at companies because they offer good value propositions and they are about to turn from spending money to making money. And that's why there's two sides to the Lassonde curve. One is the left side of the Lassonde curve when you find a mine. The other is when you build a mine, that's the right side of the Lassonde curve. And oftentimes, just before they go up that right side of the Lassonde curve, they're quite soft. And as they're getting close to bringing something into production. That's why I picked them not long after they hit this low. And I'm really happy with them. I think they've got a great story ahead of them. And yeah, you want to do your homework on Foran. Alrighty, now I'm going to talk about Golden Cross. Golden Cross Resources secures application over strategic strike expansion at the Welcome and TI Tree gold projects in Victoria, that's Australia. They added 46 kilometers of strike along several highly prospective anticlines extending from the company's current portfolio of prospects. They added an additional 305 kilometers squared to the company's land holdings. Now it totals 750 square kilometers. And that's really exciting because that's a huge land package. And it's not very far from one of the greatest orogenic gold mines in the world, which is the Fosterville mine. It's about 30 kilometers away from their claim. So they're in prime location to look for orogenic gold deposits. And now they've got a huge land package there. So they announced that the application for exploration license has secured an additional 305 square kilometers. This is in Victoria, Australia's prolific Lachlan Fold Belt, a region known for orogenic gold deposits that are structurally controlled quartz vein hosted systems, as well as intrusion related and epizonal high grade gold systems. They talk about this will give a, basically, I'll go down here because this shows you all the, so this is their current land holdings in the lightish blue here and they added all of this tan colored stuff. Now, I would also point out that another of my picks, which is Southern Cross, has a spectacular discovery right here in close proximity to their to Golden Cross's ground and company carries a $1.5 billion valuation and I still think it's it's cheap and that's why I added them and so it's a very spectacular discovery and if you look closely at this you'll see a series of little red dots here on their claim block and there was about seven of those dots right around this historic mine. And that's where they found their Sunday Creek discovery. Now, if you go up here to Southern Golden Cross's ground, look at all the historical mining that was done in close proximity to one of these important structures, geological structures that are crucial to making discoveries because they prepare the rock so that the gold bearing fluids from deeper can make their way up to the surface. And they know that there was gold at the surface because this was mined by surface mining, alluvial mining by just small scale miners up to over 100 years ago. And so there's just a prolific amount of historical mining that had been done here, over here, up here, here. And now they've got this prospective ground, and you see all these lines going through them. These are all important features for the emplacement of gold in these kind of systems. And so, as you can see, they got a lot of really good ground to increase their land position quite dramatically. And so, yeah, they just keep on putting out a lot of good results and a lot of good information. Here's their quote from Allan, who's the VP Exploration. And he commented, and I quote, our prospects demonstrate gold mineralization closely linked to the region's major anticlinal fold trends. We are entering an exciting growth phase as we advance mapping and initial drill testing of several underexplored targets, including Welcome Reef and the historic Amoy mine. This tenement application strategically secures future expansion opportunities for Golden Cross along strike of these highly prospective gold-bearing corridors. So Welcome Reef, that's end quote. Welcome Reef is this one right in here, or this is the Red Reedy Creek gold field, and Welcome Reef is over here. TI tree. So now uh, deposits don't care about claim boundaries. They follow these kind of trends, and so they can get after that in a big way. And what was the other one they mentioned? Amoy mine. Let's see, where's Amoy mine? I can't easily find it. I'm sorry. You can find it when you look through this information on their website, when you do your own homework. But as I was saying, Golden Cross is a very exciting gold explorer in Australia, near one of the great gold mines of the world. I think they're going to make an important discoveries, and they're just cranking up the drill rig as we speak. So yeah, take a look at their news and do your homework on Golden Cross. As you can see, they've only been publicly trading since about mid-April and have been doing very well ever since. And the company's well financed. They got a lot of drilling that they're going to do because they are a target rich company with a very large land package. They're well financed, so they can really roll up their sleeves and go after this in a big way. And yeah, just fresh out of the box, they're doing very well. And I'm glad to have picked them at about 60 cents a share. They closed today at 80 cents a share. And I think this company is going to have a really good news flow. So pay attention to what they're doing. Okay, Inventus. Inventus discovers new gold-bearing channel with thickest intercept to date at the Pardo Gold Project. This is phase two drilling at their 100% owned Pardo Gold Project, located 65 kilometers northeast of Sudbury, Ontario. The results include the thickest zone of gold-bearing conglomerate reef intersected to date, further confirming the expansional potential of gold mineralization at Pardo. They start they so this hole is only 32 meters below the surface, and it intersected 6.47 meters of 2.16 grams per ton of gold, including 2.65 meters of 3.87 grams per ton of gold, and a high-grade core returning 0.85 of a meter of 9.41 grams per ton of gold. And that's a 35-meter step out to the northwest, intersected the thickest gold-bearing conglomerate reef at Pardo to date, and represents the discovery of a new channel of gold mineralization that remains open for drill testing. They give you some more details. Wesley Weimark is the president and head of exploration. He commented, and I quote, intersecting the thickest gold-bearing reef we've ever seen in drill hole PD 2587 is not only a strong validation of our geological model, but also a clear demonstration that these reefs can develop exceptional thickness with high-grade zones over a continuous mineralized horizon. This discovery opens up a new channel of mineralization to the northwest, giving us an exciting new area for follow-up drilling and reinforcing the potential scale of Pardo as a low-cost, near-surface gold project. These results continue to strengthen our confidence in the project's ability to deliver meaningful growth and value for shareholders. This is a bit of an undiscovered gem, and one of the greatest gold mines ever is the greatest gold mine ever is a conglomerate gold mine in South Africa called Witwatersrand, and they've got indications that they have a very substantial conglomerate gold system here with very good grades. You got to remember that this is right at the surface, and surface mines, open pit mines these days are like mining a half a gram. So when you're seeing grams, up to 9.4 grams, stepped out way over here, they're finding it, and it's still wide open all over the place on this project. And so here they show you the conglomerate, the grades, that sort of stuff. I'd advise you to do your homework on the company. I'm really impressed with what they have, and I'm quite surprised that more haven't uh, taken a look at Inventus because I think they've got a really sleeper of a story that could emerge all of a sudden where everybody's just wakes up one day and more people are paying attention. It traded all the way down to a few pennies just late last year in the third quarter, and now they're trading at 26 cents. They went through a golden cross back here. They're now trading quite substantially above the 50-day moving average. They've kind of had an increase in volume and action in the stock since May when they started doing bulk samplings and this sort of stuff. And this company is going to have a lot of news out. So put it on your radar screen, do your homework on them. They have a very minimal valuation and plenty of catalysts to see that improve. And sometimes it's just a matter of getting out there and telling the story. And I try to do that best I can on my end. And hopefully the company gets traction on that as well. Because this is a very exciting project that is not getting the kind of attention that it deserves. All right, I'll leave it at that. All right, next up is Pan American Silver. And Pan American Silver completes acquisition of Mag Silver. This is a great event for me. Mag Silver was a pick that I made, and several pick times I picked them before they were in full commercial production. They've been a really successful pick, and now they have been taken over by Pan American Silver. And so the transaction adds a 44% joint venture interest in the large scale, high grade Juanicipio silver mine in Zacatecas. That's the asset that they acquired from Mag Silver. And now that belongs to, that 44% belongs to Pan American Silver, and the remaining 56% is owned by Fresnillo PLC, which is one of the lowest cost silver miners in the world. And this is one of their key mines, Juanicipio. So now that asset belongs to Pan American Silver. Their CEO, uh, Michael Steinman, he's the president and CEO. He stated, and I quote, the Juanicipio mine is a high quality addition to our portfolio that will contribute meaningfully to our silver production, reserves, and cash flow. We are pleased to welcome MAG shareholders to Pan American who now benefit from participation in a larger, diversified, and growth-oriented silver and gold producer. We also look forward to working collaboratively with Fresnillo, the mine's operator, to advance the potential of the Juanicipio asset for the benefit of all stakeholders. Then they give you the details of the transaction. Part of it's cash, part of it's stock. So the MAG shareholders will become Pan American shareholders and they get some cash in the deal as well. MAG Silver will no longer, so that's a little bittersweet. MAG Silver will no longer be listed and it'll be taken off the market. Well, let's read this. Pan American is a leading producer of silver and gold in the Americas, operating mines in Canada, Mexico, Peru, Brazil, Bolivia, Chile, and Argentina. We also own a 44% joint venture interest in the Juanicipio mine in Mexico, 100% interest in the Escobal mine in Guatemala that is currently not operating, and we hold interest in exploration and development projects. We have been operating in the Americas for over 3 decades, earning an industry-leading reputation for sustainability, performance, operational excellence, and prudent financial management. They're headquartered in Vancouver and they trade on the New York and Toronto Stock Exchange under the symbol PAAS, which is a good segue into looking at their stock chart. I added them not too long ago to my major miners picks. I only have two of those before Pan American Silver, and those are both gold. One's Agnico Eagle Mines. My my audience has been hearing about me talk about them for a long time now. And then Newmont is a more recent pick. And the most recent pick is my silver major mining company, which is Pan American Silver. In my opinion, Agnico Eagle is the premier gold mining operator. And when it comes to silver, I would say the same thing about Pan American Silver. Extremely well run, has been in operation for decades. And I think they have a very bright future, especially when you're as bullish as I am on silver. I believe silver is going to make a run at $50 this year. And then in 2026, or maybe even late 2025, I think we're going to start to see it hit a new series of record highs above the all-time high of $50 per ounce. And if that happens, then that only adds more oomph to this company's bottom line as it will help them grow their free cash flow. And they're already a very attractive free cash flow generating machine. So all of these things combined are why I like them. I picked them, I think, can't remember exactly when. I think it was on this dip when they were down around their 50-day moving average. You'll have to go and look at that yourself. I don't keep track of all these, but it has trended up nicely since I picked it. I'll say that. And with a higher silver price, I think that this one is going to have a power move ahead of it that will track and outperform the movement in the price of silver. That's the torque you want in a major mining company for silver that gives you access to added performance with not a lot of or not a lot of risk, and it can be. I think it'll significantly outperform silver. So Pan American Silver is my major silver mining company pick. And that's my show for today. As always, my shows are for information purposes only. It's important for you to do your homework, speak with your financial advisors, be an informed investor, understand the metals and the companies you're invested in. Do the same no matter what sector you're looking at. A well-informed investor makes more logical and rational decisions. A less informed investor makes emotional decisions. That's a recipe for disaster. Do that homework and you'll become a more well-informed investor. And I think ultimately that makes you a better investor. Alrighty. Take care. Have a great day. We'll talk to you soon.